First, I want to say, Mohammed Hijab, I've read your book. It's blown my mind. It's the one about metaphysics. Yeah, like I read it and it's blown my mind. It's made me think about things. It made me look at things a lot differently. How you talked about maths, and it just it's really it brings the whole argument of this. It makes the whole atheist argument very, very hollow. Once you just bring metaphysics in, because you can't really deny metaphysics. That's not the question. I'll try to be quick because I think there's all people waiting, and I've just got one question. I would say I'm Muslim. This question I have, it doesn't really discount Islam as a whole. It doesn't discount monotheism, but it's really weird. It's made me, like feel weird about it.
Yeah.
So there's a hadith, I was reading hadith randomly. I was in Surah Bukhari, and I come across a hadith about Aisha, and she said something like to Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, why do you treat us like dogs or camels? It pertains to, what was it, reading namaz, and how he says basically, if a woman touches you, a dog touches you, or a camel touches you, it invalidates it. In my head, how I rationalize this is like, maybe she said this because she's immature, because how can she say this about the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that you're treating us versus dogs? And because I've seen that she's a bit temperamental as well. Is this a genuine hadith? Why would she accuse the Prophet of?
The hadith in question. Can you mute your computer?
Mute my what? Sorry.
Mute your computer.
Sorry.
Yeah. Right. So the hadith in question, شبهتنا بالكلاب, is when the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he said, if one of three entities comes in front of you, can we get the actual hadith? I don't want to misquote it. Sorry, the hadith of شبهتنا بالكلاب. There are three things, either the himar, the donkey, and the al-mar'a, and the third one. No, is it two? Or kalb instead of the kalb. Yeah. Now, in terms of this hadith, how have the madhahib al-arba'ah, how have they interpreted it? So the Hanbalis, no doubt about it.
Before you go to interpretation, just give.
Right. So sorry, I apologize. Now, in terms of this hadith, do you want to get the hadith out? What does it say?
يقطع صلاة المرء المسلم إذا لم يكن بين يديه مثل مؤخرة الرجل المرأة والحمار والكلب الأسود.
So at the beginning it's يقطع ماذا؟
صلاة المرء.
Yeah. So here it says يقطع صلاة المرء. Yeah. So the prayer of the person is invalidated of three things go in front of it, or not. This is the question: is it invalidated? Right? يقطع صلاة المرء. So it cuts the prayer of the Muslim of three things come in front of it. The المرأة والحمار والكلب الأسود, yeah, so which is a woman and a donkey and a black dog. Now they say, well, the Aisha came along and said, شبهتنا بالكلاب, like, what, you put me in the same category as a dog, which obviously is not the case in the sense that we're in terms of value, right? We know that men and women are actually the same in terms of value in Islam. However, how was this hadith interpreted? Does it mean yaqta salat al-mar, meaning that the prayer is invalidated? There are two opinions in Islam. One opinion says yes, because that's the zahir of the kalam, and the other opinion says no, it's not invalidated, because yaqta salat al-mar here does not mean invalidation. That's the opinion of the Hanbali school. Now, why these three entities in particular? Is it because that all of them are the same in terms of worth? Absolutely not. It just is the three most distracting things you can imagine. If you want to bring a hikmah on this, if you are praying and some woman comes right in front of you, okay, a physiological impulse for a man would be to be distracted by that. And the distraction might be as such that it could actually kind of bring you out of what you've started doing in the first place. Now, if someone will say, well, if that's the case, why isn't it the case that for a woman, that the man would break the salah? We say that the fact that it breaks the salah in the sense that it invalidates it is no consensus among the Muslims. As we've discussed in the Hanbali madhab, it would not break the salah. The second thing is, there is an assumption in Islam, and I think it's a very clear assumption, that there are different physiological responses for men and women in different situations, whether it's a murder situation, whether it's even writing things down, even to anything where it requires witness testimony. There's lots of physiological impulses which are different to women and men. Now we have to be comfortable with the fact that Islam says that equality in value between men and women does not mean identicality in roles. That's just the assumption of the secular feminists. We can't run with that. Now, Aisha anha, she says, Shabahtana bil kilab, knowing full well, right, it was kind of like a facetious statement, knowing full well that it's not taswiya in the sense of value, or leveling and equaling in terms of value. She's saying that, like, you know, you've mentioned all these three things in one go, meaning that we'll put in the same category as them, as the donkey and the black dog. These are things which distract people in the prayer. A woman, for me personally, quite frankly, for me, a woman would distract me more than a black dog, you know, or the himar, the donkey, you see, because if a donkey came in front of me or a black dog came in front of me, yeah, the black dog is associated with jinn and stuff, like, you don't want to be there. But moreover, that's the first part of the answer. Second part of the answer is, even a man can, you know, this is what, so we said about a woman, but even a man can have is like that as well, because if you put a sutra, which is like a spear-like object, okay, you put that in front of the person, and the man goes in front of it. There's actually hadith says you can push the man. There's no such hadith about that for a woman, because the man is coming in front of you, you can push him away, because he's like the devil. It's like, why would he be interrupting your prayer? So it's not specific to women about coming in front of them and invalidating. It's just that coming in front of them is different to coming between them and the sutra. Where the man comes in between the sutra, you can actually push them away. Now I'm saying that, so it's not a matter of, it's a matter of distraction. A woman poses a huge distraction for a man. Bro, do you know these kind of things, man? To be honest, you know, they do social experiments. I was watching one when I was 16 years old. You know, when there was a woman in the street and stuff, and they track the eyes of the guy, like how he looks.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, these things are there, bro. Like, there's even cognitive
where they look and
where they look. Is like the distraction that women cause for men is completely different on an impulsive level, on a physiological level, than the opposite. And that is just the reality of the situation, you know. And so yes, there are these kinds of rules, but as I say, there's not like there's no rules for men in front being coming in front of the sutra rules. And yes, we don't agree that there's everything that is for men is for women. And furthermore, on the fiqh level, that the Hanbalis don't. I don't know much about the other schools, but the Hanbalis certainly don't see it as an invalidation of the prayer. They just see it as whatever it is, it's naqs in the reward or deficiency in the reward that you'd get in that prayer. Hope that answers the question, bro.
Thank you so much for the answer, Hijab.